Another shoreline designation that we're proposing is an isolated designation. So an isolated shoreline designation recognizes that your land, though it may be within 200 feet of the shoreline, which is the shoreline jurisdiction per state code, while you may be within that 200 feet, your parcel is divorced from the shoreline, essentially. There's no connection there. And there are a couple of parcels near Evergreen Park that we're proposing to apply this to. There's a separation of Evergreen Park, and then there's additionally the Sheldon Boulevard there that separate these few parcels from the shoreline. And yet they are barely in the shoreline jurisdiction. So we're proposing to add this isolated designation so that the buffers that would normally apply in these situations don't apply to these parcels that are separated by the park, separated by Sheldon Boulevard. And some highlights that we have from the critical area.
This is Vice President Dowgs, followed by Councilmember Simpson.
Thank you, Garrett, and all those who worked on this. Like Councilmember Younger said, 300-page document. It's the majority of our packet. But I have a few questions. One, if you guys go back to the page 340, which is the maps of the boundaries. Yeah, 340. So the boundaries that we are adding on, and I think is like the pink one a new boundary?
It is. It's the isolated designation. So in some cases we have dual designations where there's two lines, and we are adding the pink line for the isolated designation.
Okay.
The other designation is nearest the parks.
So then why would it be go from, well, it has two, the recreation to the isolated. Why would you add the isolated? Just because it's not a used area?
Sure. No, it's because the recreational designation will stay with Evergreen Park. But the isolated designation specifically applies to the parcels across the street on Sheldon Boulevard. So you probably wouldn't even associate those parcels with being on the shoreline, but they're technically within 200 feet. So that designation just lets everybody know, hey, these are within the 200 feet shoreline designation, but they're not going to be regulated in the same way as if they were properties fronting on the water.
So the pink line affects the properties that are along that water side, right?